Welcome to the Transparent Utah File Preparer. This video is a complete walkthrough of creating a revenue and expenditure report from start to finish. Before we begin, make sure that you have your revenue and expenditure transactions that you want to copy into this tool somewhere from QuickBooks or whatever your accounting system is. Here's an example of my dummy data here. Make sure that you have all your revenues and expenditures. If you didn't have any revenues or expenditures in a quarter, you'll want to request an exemption. You can email or call our Transparency Utah team, or you can click the exemption page here in the navigation bar or this link to submit an exemption. The next thing you need to ask is if you've had any changes or additions of accounts in your accounting system. If so, you'll need to update your account association table. For the purposes of this tutorial, we're going to assume that all of your accounts are up to date. If you need this updated, feel free to reach out to our team or update your account information yourself by changing the spelling in your account names or whatever information you need to do. That's step 1. Let's proceed to step 2A, which is to go to the Revenue Expenditure Report page. I'll click this button here. I could also access this section by hitting RV/EX here at the top, which is short for Revenue and Expenditure. Here we can see my existing reports. I'm going to create a new transparency report by clicking this button and then entering the report's name and fiscal year. I recommend that you do the year and the quarter that you're uploading data for, or multiple quarters. In this case, let's do 2024, January through March, and we're going to call this final because I already made one earlier today as an example. And then I'm going to enter my fiscal year, which in this case will be 2024, and hit Create Report. We can now see that my empty report is here. It's the first year because it's the last updated. I'm going to click Open Report and scroll to the bottom with the data entry section. I'm then going to open up my QuickBooks export and copy the information. If my columns are all in order like this, I can easily select them all, press Ctrl+C, go to the file preparer's first row and first column, and then press Ctrl+V. All the data lines up. Chances are yours doesn't line up perfectly, so what you'll need to do is just do it column by column. For example, if I want all the dates, I'll select all the dates, press Ctrl+C, and that entire column is selected. Then when it comes time to pasting, I'll go to the corresponding column's first row and press Ctrl+V to paste it in, and do that for all columns. Let's go ahead and paste it all back in though. Alright, so the data I pasted in is looking good, but there's a few issues. If I tried creating my transparency text file right now, I'm going to get an error. I have missing payer or vendor names on line 2. So how do I fix this? Well, a couple things. First, I need to double check and make sure that I didn't just miss a name for my export. In this case, interest revenue doesn't really have a payee. Maybe we could put the bank, but in most cases, this is just going to be not applicable. So I'll type not applicable. And same thing with this salaries expense. This is just a lump sum, so there's not really a vendor this is going to. So I would also put not applicable. If you have a lot of columns that are empty, you can also do this Fill Vendor Name button here to fill all of your empty columns with a certain name. I'll show you right now. You can hit Fill Vendor Name, and then you have a few options. You can do Fill with Not Applicable, Fill with Redacted if it's a private vendor or payee, or you can enter some custom name. So here's how to fill, and you can see those empty rows are changed. Let's do a custom one too. And let's say my custom vendor is the federal government. I'm just making stuff up. Alright, so that's how we fill information in. Another issue I see over here is I have a bunch of negative amounts. Negative amounts aren't a problem, but the only negatives that we want in this database are actually reversals. Transparent Utah is a little funny where we have to standardize the revenues and expenditures some way because some entities have revenues as negative in their system and some entities have expenses as negative. So we require that both revenues and expenditures are all positive unless they're a reversal. In my case, my accounting system exports all my revenues as negative. So to fix this, I can click the revenues or negative checkbox here. This is going to multiply all my revenues by -1 and make sure that my total net amount actually makes a lot of sense. Before that, my net amount was $13,000, almost $14,000, and that'd be pretty bad for my city. So let's make sure that's checked and then hit Save Report. Cool. And now to actually create the report and download it to my computer, I'll click Create Transparency Text File. This made a file on my computer. Let's go to my Downloads folder to see it. So this is my file. You can see it has 2024, which is the fiscal year, RVEX, which is short for Revenue Expenditure, letting me know this is a Revenue Expenditure report, my entity's name, and the fiscal year span. In this case, January 1st through the 31st of 2024. If I open this up, you can see that it's taken the supplemental information from my account association table and basically inserted it where appropriate for all 5 rows. For example, here's the UCA information. I didn't have to enter that for each row because it joined it off the account name. Awesome. Now let's go submit the report to the state reporting system. Log into the state reporting system. I'm already logged in here. Enter your entity's name. In my case, let's upload it for Test City. Then I need to enter my net amount and number of rows. This information is found back on the file preparer by scrolling up to the report information section. I'm going to copy and paste these numbers here by selecting it and doing Control-C and Control-V. And the number of rows was 5, so I'll enter 5 here. I then will hit Upload Files and find the files on my computer. I'm going to visit the downloads, find my file here, and select it. My file is now uploaded. I will click Done, and a very important step, I still need to submit this by clicking Next one last time. I'll know that my file was successfully submitted when I see a new file show up here at the top of my uploads with a status of pending. This file is now going to get verified or rejected pretty quickly. Let's refresh our page. You can refresh your list by clicking this refresh button here. We can now see that my file was verified. Great work. Thank you for watching this tutorial, and feel free to reach out to our team if you get stuck at any point on this process. Thank you.